when our customers call, I never know the true value of that load. Some could just be the standard operating practices. We move this load every single day, ho hum. As long as you're doing it on time, there's really nobody paying attention to it. And I've said this for years and years and years. None of us really ever look at a UPS tracking number until a package doesn't show up on our porch. You get a tracking number with every single one of them, but until you don't see your product on your outside, only then do you look it up and type it into the computer and figure out where it is. Well, what we don't know sometimes is which of those loads could be as memorable as any of the others. And I call them legacy loads. Those legacy loads are the ones that your customer are always going to remember you for, good or bad. If I say yes to it, and I figure I'm going to save the day, but then I deliver it late, I will always be remembered as the guy that failed the legacy load. Now, if I say yes to the load and we deliver it on time and do what we're supposed to do, and I can tell you that's a very high percentage of the time that happens, those are what gets made with the traffic manager or the traffic personnel at that customer that remember you saved the day, that one day for them. It may have been 6 months ago, and you may have done 1,000 loads since then, but because of that day at that time, you may have saved one of their customers because you got the shipment in the time that they needed. And so those moments are when it's built for all that kind of stuff. I've always told a story. You remember the last time you went was 2 to 3 months ago, but the 499 times before that, you probably don't remember even going because it's just become part of your life, right? Those are the ho-hum moments. Of those 500 trips, one was more valuable than the other 499. The other one was the worst experience of the 499. Now, if I told you that one time you went into McDonald's and you happened to open the door and glitter fell from the ceiling because you were the 1 millionth customer and you won $10,000, do you think you'd remember that? Because you were the 1 millionth customer of that one? You would always remember being that visit and winning that $10,000. Now, here's what I'm gonna tell you, that's never gonna happen, okay? You're never gonna win $10,000 at a McDonald's for $1 million story. But what I'm getting at is that of those 500 loads, there is a number one and there's a number 500 visit, okay? We wanna be the number one every single time. You never want it from a legacy load, you never wanna be that 500, right? But I can tell you, even though a load that could have been one of these right here in the middle, it could turn because of some issue, whether it be weather, whether it be the customer demand, there could be some issue that now moves it all the way to the top or the bottom if you succeed or fail that load. And so you have to be cognizant of when those things happen. And if the customer says, oh my goodness, we've got to route this around the weather or we're not going to get it to it's going to shut the plant down, you immediately go into a different mode that says, okay, driver, here's what we've got to do, because that just became a legacy moment. It's not just your standard movement that all those visits you had to McDonald's where you got those chicken nuggets where you really don't remember them. It's not that one anymore. It's now I won $10,000 and I will remember it the rest of my life, or I got sick and I was in the hospital for 5 days and I too will remember that the rest of my life. Those are legacy loads. That's what you do. Now I always use the McDonald's theme because people always eat at McDonald's, right? But the fact of the matter is, you will always remember the greatest event that happened there or the worst. People tend to remember the greatest things that's ever happened in their lives or the worst things that's happened in their lives. The rest of it is almost irrelevant. It's just us living our lives. You remember birthdays, you remember wedding days, you remember children being born, you remember, the greatest things that's ever happened. You also remember the other stuff. Unfortunately, we remember deaths. We remember any accidents we've ever been into or injuries to others or things that aren't on the good side. Those are the things that we live our life with, as the highs and the lows, unfortunately. Well, our customers do too, in a weird way.